All right, Jay Stoyan here. As you can see, we're just outside. Now we're here on a bus. And what I want to do is I want to introduce the lead travel trainer from the TTC. She's going to tell us all about the great features that you're going to be seeing on this bus. So I'm going to hand off the mic. Here we go.
Well, thank you very much. So now I can introduce myself to everybody. So my name is Desiree Ann, and I am the TTC's lead travel trainer. So what I do for Wheel-Trans is I take customers that are interested in learning the conventional system, so whether that's the bus, the streetcar, the subway, or the community bus, and I actually go with the customer on a route of their choice around the system. So it's travel training one-on-one, so it's not in a group setting. So today, as a part of the travel training program, we are holding a vehicle exploration day to just really take the time to have a vehicle out of service so that customers can learn about all of the accessible features on the vehicle when it's not moving and when it's not filled with other customers. Okay, so basically how this is going to work is I will go through the vehicle and explain the accessible features that are on board, and then after, everybody will have the chance to go around and try out the features if they so choose. Okay, so if anybody has a question, you just let me know. If I need to talk louder, you just let me know. And I'm assuming that some of you probably can't see me, but you just let me know if you have any questions, okay? So we will start with the front of the vehicle. So as everybody knows that boarded, every TTC conventional bus has a ramp. Okay, so the whole bus fleet on TTC is fully accessible, meaning that the bus has a ramp at the front door and it also kneels. So when it says kneel, it means lower in another word, okay? So the TTC also has what we call a please lower the ramp or please kneel the bus flashcards. Okay, so if everybody can see the card that I'm holding up, holding it to the left, holding it to the right. So this is another tool that a customer can use to let the driver know if they need the ramp or if they need the bus kneeled. So it's just an extra tool that you can use when you're boarding the vehicle, because sometimes if there's a crowd of people outside waiting, it might be difficult to tell the operator what you actually need. And some may not know, but there's actually a policy that is the first on, last off policy. Okay, so first on meaning a customer using a mobility device boards the bus first and then they exit the bus last. Okay, so if you are using a mobility device and you have this card that says please lower the ramp, the operator should be putting out the ramp and you should be boarding the bus first and getting your mobility device in the mobility device section on the bus. Okay, each bus has 2 designated areas for mobility devices, and it's going to be on the right hand side of the vehicle. So in the vehicle today, there are 2 customers using mobility devices in those designated spots. These are also called priority seating areas. So on the vehicle, every vehicle, there is blue seats. So the blue seats mean that they are designated for people with disabilities, seniors, or women that are pregnant or with young children. Okay? On the right-hand side of the vehicle, where I said for customers using mobility devices, so there's 3 seats in a row. Those 2 stations actually have flip-up seats. So the seats flip up so the customer using the device can park their device in that section. Okay, the other 3 or 2 seats on the other side of the vehicle, those seats are stationary and they do not fold or they do not lift up. Okay, on the priority seating, so in the mobility device section, there is a push stop request button on the bottom of the seats. So it's a large, well, there's 2 different types to be honest. The one in the bus that we're in today is a large rectangular button. So the whole yellow piece is a button. And if a customer hits that button, it's actually 2 beeps. Okay, so if a customer is sitting in the bus and they hit the stop request, the red button on the poles here, or they pull the yellow string, it's going to beep once to let the operator know that someone has requested a stop. If a customer presses the yellow button that's under the seats of the priority seating here, it beeps twice, which gives a notification to the operator that that customer needs the ramp. Okay, if somebody is sitting in another area of the bus and they need the ramp, they would have to press the stop request button and get themselves to the front and then ask the driver if they can put out the ramp. Okay, so that's an additional feature that's on one side of the bus. There is color contrast, which is nice on the bus here. So the priority seating is blue, the other seating is red, the grab bars are all yellow, and the stop request buttons are red, which is nice, it's easier to see. So again, starting with the front of the bus, there are now Presto readers. There's 2 Presto readers in all buses, one being at the front door, one being at the back. So who here, show ray of hands, has a Presto card? What? Oh, that's exciting, a lot of people, woohoo! Okay, so when you board the bus at the front, there is a Presto reader, so it's nice and easy for a customer to tap their card on the right hand side and continue their way onto the bus. Now, on a conventional bus, you do have the opportunity to interact with the operator. So that is different than a subway or a streetcar because you're not interacting with the operator at all. So if you're using Presto or any type of payment, you are able to ask the operator for assistance. So for some customers that don't have the motor control to be able to tap their Presto card, you can ask assistance from the driver. Okay? There are many other things that you can ask the driver, and sometimes, you know, customers aren't sure what the driver can do for them, what they can't do. So when you board the bus, it's good practice to actually tell the operator where you're getting off. So you would say, oh, I'm getting off at such and such a station, whatever stop. So hopefully they'd be able to let you know when you arrive at that stop. It's just an extra confirmation that you're getting off where you're expecting to get off. So the operator can help with directions, they can help with your fare payment, and then they can help you get off at the stop that you are wanting to get off at. Okay, there's also a Presto reader at the back doors. So for customers that are entering or exiting the back doors, you can pay at the back there too. What else are we gonna go over? So some of the features are different depending on the bus that you are in. So the bus has different seat configurations. So for example, this particular bus here that has 2 seats behind the operator, there is actually a step up in order to get up there. It is nicely marked with a yellow tactile strip to make it more visible, but again, it is a step up. And then towards the back of this bus, there is 2 steps in order to get to the back of the bus seating back there. So just be mindful of, you know, thinking about where your optimal seat is when you get on the bus, because sometimes if you're boarding and, you know, the bus is in a tight schedule, there's lots of people already on the bus, sometimes people get a little bit anxious trying to find the seat that works for them. For any customers that have disabilities, I always recommend exiting the front door just to make sure that you have enough time exiting, because if you're boarding or exiting at the back, the operator doesn't have as close of a view to make sure that everything is okay, that you have cleared the door. They can help you with navigation, the step, whether the bus pulled up flush to the curb or there's a step down into the street and then a step up to the curb. They can give you all that information if you exit and enter the front. Okay. What else can we go over here? Does anybody have any questions?
I could.
Yeah? Okay, go ahead.
I like the Wheel-Trans band. They're so good.
Yeah? Well, that's great.
And I can hear the driver properly. Because when I'm in the other buses, I can hear the driver in the back seat.
Yep. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
The support cards, do they work the same on a TTC bus? Like streetcars and buses?
Yes. Yeah. So the question, just in case not everybody heard, was about the TTC support person card. So yes, the TTC support person card works on any of the TTC fleet, whether that's Wheel-Trans, subway, streetcar. And so it's the support person that shows the driver the card, and then it's the customer with the disability that holds on to the support person card themselves. Okay, so they pass it to the person that they're with, their support, and then they take the card back. Does anyone else have any questions as of right now? No? Okay. So there's another campaign that the TTC is doing right now, and it's called Please Offer Me a Seat. So the TTC does recognize that, you know, lots of customers have invisible disabilities, and on the other hand, there are some people that sit in the priority seating that maybe don't need the priority seating to be nice. So what the TTC is doing, it's almost a peer-to-peer type of campaign where they have these buttons, and they're blue, and it says, please offer me a seat. So for customers that are wearing this, it basically encourages customers that are sitting in priority seating to possibly vacate that seat for someone else that needs it if they can. So again, it's not enforced, it's voluntary, but it's just an extra tool that a customer can use to hopefully get the seat that they need. Another thing that I like to encourage customers to do is, I understand that it can be a little bit intimidating if you yourself have to ask another passenger or customer to move. You know, you might not want to start any confrontation, you might feel uncomfortable. So what you can do is when you board the vehicle, you can say hi to the driver, you can let him know when you're getting off, but you can also say, is there any free seats in priority seating? Then what the operator is going to do is they're going to look, and they can either give you directions, whether it's on the left-hand side of the vehicle or the right-hand side, and then they may even ask customers to vacate the seat if they don't need it. Again, this is an extra tool, an extra thing that you can do to make sure that you get a seat in priority seating. Okay. On the vehicle, there's also external and internal announcements. So when you are boarding the bus, it's going to verbally announce the bus number and the destination. Because at many bus stops around the city, more than one bus actually stops at the same stop. So it will say 98 Willowdale. So it will tell you the number of the bus and the destination or the route that the bus is traveling along. So if you are not sure or you can't hear, you can also confirm with the driver when the driver pulls over and asks you if you're getting on. On board the vehicle, it will announce every stop that the vehicle is approaching. So it would say, now approaching Victoria Park, now approaching, so on and so forth. Okay, so it gives you a little bit of notice when you can press your stop request so that it's not last minute and you can prepare to safely exit the vehicle. It's also over my head displayed at the top. Okay, so when somebody requests a stop, so if somebody presses the button, it'll say stop request, or a light will go on, and it will say the actual street name of the next approaching intersection. Okay, so it's only going to be announcing intersections and streets on the next stop. And again, it's going to beep once if you hit the red stop button, and it's going to beep twice if you hit the button that is under the priority seating. So when the bus goes on, we will have somebody press the button so you can actually hear what the two chimes sound like, and customers can practice getting on and off, and then practice getting into the mobility device section. Specifically with the mobility device section, there is securement that's available for customers that are using mobility devices. So there is an all or none policy. So the customer could either choose to not be secured and they would just turn off their device, or they can choose to be secured by having it's a 4-point system. So you would have 2 straps at the back, 2 straps at the front, and then you would have a shoulder and lap belt. Okay, so it's all or nothing. You can't choose to have just 2 or just the shoulder. It's an all or none policy. Okay, so if you are using a mobility device when you're boarding, you can ask the driver for securement if you would like you and your device to be secured inside the vehicle. There is no securement for other devices such as walkers or any other type of conventional equipment. It's just mobility devices in the 2 designated sections, which are on the right-hand side of the bus, the direction facing the bus. There's also grab bars that are hanging over top that are in gray for customers that are standing. And there are grab bars on the door. Thank you, Matthew.